Let's take a few minutes and talk about finding new business. Prospecting. Not all prospects are created equal. For instance, years ago when I started in real estate, my broker taught us to cold call. The upside about cold calling is it doesn't take a lot of skill. Basically, it's a numbers game. Ask enough people if they want to sell their house and somebody's going to say yes. On the downside today, a lot of salespeople don't like disrupting people's days, for starters. Secondly, we have a do not call list that complicates that space. But if you're call compliant, you do your homework, it's a very affordable way to work every day to find new business opportunities. Now, subsequent to that, another way of looking for business is you could buy online leads. You can buy business off the internet. They will identify opportunities and send them to you. The challenge with buying online business is it's expensive. And you have to be good on the phone to convert those opportunities. A lot of times agents get frustrated because they'll get 30 or 40 leads in a month, but only one of those will actually convert. That means you got to have 29 or 35 phone calls with people who are not looking to buy a house and only filled in a capture form to get some information. It's frustrating, and it's like digging through a whole bunch of stuff to find just what it is you're looking for. I also like niche markets. As my career evolved, I started to do specialty stuff. Like, for instance, at one point in my career, I used to like to work with first-time home buyers. I really felt that somebody had to look after them and protect them because they really didn't know what they were doing. So I was really comfortable with that. I really liked the way that felt. So there are all kinds of different niche markets. It could be a style of house, like a Victorian, or it could be a neighborhood, could be a price range, or it could be a specific demographic, like a baby boomer or a first-time buyer, maybe somebody who's buying investment real estate. But what happens is when you specialize, people who are looking for that will come looking for you because of the in-depth knowledge that you have. I also am a fan of geofarming. Now, the thing about geofarms that makes it difficult is you could be 6, 9 months, even a year before you get a return on the money you're spending. But I like a geofarm because over time, when you build a recognizable brand in that area, people will think of you first when they're thinking of selling because your signage is everywhere, your just listeds are everywhere, your just solds are everywhere, your open houses are everywhere in that neighborhood. So you become synonymous with real estate in that area. Social connections. Now, I've always been a relationship-based person. There are people who are transactional who really don't want to know their clients. They just want to sell them a house and move on. But me, I always took my prospects and turned them into friends and then leveraged those relationships because I was close to them. They would recommend neighbors, friends, relatives to me, and my business grew exponentially because of my relationships. So again, not everybody is a relationship person. Not everybody wants to get out in social situations and connect with people in the community. But if that's your forte and you're really good with that, then that might be one of the areas that you want to consider. Referral partners. Again, the challenge with this is it takes time to build relationships. But when those relationships are in place, there are people that have the ability to send you more than one lead. It could be a mortgage person, could be title, could be warranty, could be lawyers. There's all kinds of people, like a financial planner, for instance, who works with baby boomers. A good relationship with a good financial planner, they can probably send you 12 seller listings, 15 seller listings a year. What they do with the baby boomers is they often will help them restructure their finances, sell their house in suburbia, get a townhouse, move money into their retirement portfolio. The point is they're going to be selling something and buying something, and the financial planner wants it to be successful so that they can reinvest that money in their portfolio. All I'm really saying is there are all kinds of opportunities out there when you really get to know people and they trust you and like you, they'll recommend you. Now, FSBOs and expireds. I like FSBOs and I like expireds. I like them because in the case of FSBOs, you don't have to go looking for somebody who wants to sell. Like when you're cold calling, you might have to call 100 homes and have 100 conversations to find one person that says, oh my gosh, you must be clairvoyant. I want to sell my house. Come on over and talk to us. The great thing about FSBOs, and my question to you is this, how many FSBOs would you have to call to find somebody that wants to sell a house? All of them. But the challenge with FSBOs is they're going to be more difficult. It's going to take a different skill set. It's going to take a different level of skill to be able to convert that FSBO. So a lot of times salespeople will avoid them because they don't like to be challenged. But once you understand how to list FSBOs and you understand how to communicate to a FSBO, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. Now with expireds, the thing about expireds is you need to specialize in properties that didn't sell. You need to reconnect them to the reason they were selling, get them excited about where they were going. There's all kinds of strategy around this, but the thing about expireds, probably out of every 5 or 6 you call, one of them is going to relist their property. So it just makes it so much easier from a time management perspective. Instead of spending hours and hours and hours, you can spend a lot less time and increase your conversion rate, but it's going to take a higher set of skills to do it. So you can start out making the cold calls and eventually make your way to the FSBOs and the expireds. Property leads are great. You know, doing the common thing uncommonly well is where we find our success. And I'll give you some examples. Whenever you list a property, even if it's going to sell right away, I want you to do your just listeds. Because when you send out your just listed advertising into the community, what it says to all the neighbors is, hey, there's a new property gone up for sale, and it plants the seed. Would they like to sell theirs? Or would they know somebody who would like to live in the neighborhood? Now, you're going to miss out on those opportunities if you are stingy in your marketing budget and not taking advantage of understanding all of the benefits a just listed has. Now, the same thing can be said for a just sold or open house invitations. Yes, the property sold very quickly. What you want to do as a listing agent is put out a whole bunch of just sold cards in the neighborhood and then get in behind that, making your general prospecting calls and letting them know you sold one quickly. There were multiple offers. And in fact, there were 8 offers on the property. That means there's 7 other people that would love to live in this neighborhood. This may be the opportunity for you. So where I'm going, and I'm getting into dialogue right now, and that was not necessarily my objective. I just wanted you to know the benefits of what's in front of you and how to work this stuff. So often I find that people can be cheap in real estate and they won't put any money into their marketing, especially if they think it's going to sell very quickly. But the real point of the marketing is to look for new opportunities and to create an image in the area that people can't ignore. Now, family and friends, we need to remind them that we're in real estate. The last thing you want to do is sit down with one of your buddies or a girlfriend and have them say, oh my gosh, one of the ladies at the office this week sold their house and I didn't even think to mention that you were in real estate. We have to come up with elegant, polite ways to constantly remind everybody we know we're in real estate so that we create an army of advocates so that when the word real estate comes up, they start talking about you. And then satisfied clients, no matter where you are, if you're starting or restarting your business, I want you using your CRM system. I want you to stay connected to the people that you sold properties to. Now, generally, you will pick up 1 or 2 deals. When you sell somebody a house, and let's say it's 2 or 3 years later, you're going to get a deal from them because they're going to want to sell, and you're going to think that's so odd. We just sold them a house, they're selling again. But the vast majority of the people you sold houses to, you're going to see them coming back to reconsider where they're living, where they're going, and what they're doing, usually around the 5-year mark. And around the 5-year mark, we start to see the repeat business come in. Now, nothing is more disappointing than somebody you really liked and you sold a house to. 5 years later, when you turn on your MLS computer and in the new listing section, lo and behold, what do you see? A new listing. It's one of your past clients that you sold a house to is listed with somebody else. How did that happen? My question to you is, how frequently have you been in touch? And not just the digital stuff and not just the print stuff, but have you reached out and maintained your relationship with those people? Now, what's going to happen is you're going to find a lead source. It happened to me. I had a developer that I met early in my career, and this person became a driving force in my real estate practice. Not only were they a developer, but they introduced me to a half a dozen builders, and soon I had model homes on multiple sites. My entire staff at my office was doing multiple homes on builder sites, and the great part about that was I was getting the land deals for the developer that I was selling to the builder. Then I was getting the builder's new homes that I was selling. And every time we sold somebody a new house, they had to sell the house they were in, so we got the backup business. And when you added it all up, within a couple of years, this developer had basically almost taken over my entire business, was surrounded supporting this person's business. Now, this was great, and we were having a fabulous time. My agents were happy. We were getting listings. We're selling houses, new home construction. All of that was wonderful until my developer had a nervous breakdown and quit the development business. And when that happened, it really sent a shockwave through our operation because I had to go back and resurrect relationships that I had let go when the developer had taken over just about everything we were doing. So we struggled to get back on our feet again. What I learned from that experience is don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't depend on only a few sources of business. Like me, I got hooked working with one person, and next thing you know, when they stopped, my business stopped. So my suggestion to you is Diversify. You've got a good builder you're working with, take some of that money and invest it into a FSBO campaign or an expired campaign or into a geo farm, or developing other relationships. The point is we want to have multiple streams of opportunities coming in so we're never vulnerable. We don't put our business at risk. Should one stop, another one is still coming in and continuing to support our business model.